Alright, here we go. Another exciting episode of Algebra 2, the 13-14 edition. This is just a little survival guide for you guys to help you out, let you know how things are going and how to get around this class and just make it out alive. Alright, so first off, you will have a textbook. It will be online from Holt. This will probably be very common with a lot of your classes. So once again, make sure you have access to your online book. You should find it under the book bag heading in the section of your, when you get onto the computer, I guess I should say. You'll scroll up to the one corner, you'll see that says Holt, and it'll say book bag. You'll click on there. Look for a book that looks like Algebra 2. Like I said, there might be other books in there as well. So make sure you have access to that. Contact me if you do not have access to it. And please don't call me in the fourth quarter and ask how to access your online book, or tell me you never received it from UPS, and yes, that has happened, where people think they're actually getting a real book and they thought they never got it. Okay, so if you want me to help you out, to help do something for you, the best thing to do is send me an email. So the email is kind of like my to-do list. The list of emails stares me in the face every day. And when I get an email from you, it's like, oh, I got to take care of something specifically for you. So that's usually the best way to get a quick response. Now, if you happen to be a phone kind of person, there's nothing wrong with that. I try to pick up as much as humanly possible. If for some reason I cannot pick up the phone, leave me a message, obviously. And please leave a message. Just don't call and hang up, because then I don't know that you need any help. So I will need your name, first and last, please. Like it says here, you would be amazed how many Justins we have. And we now have 9 different spellings of Brittany. Please say your name slowly. Say, hi, this is Kevin Collins. And then tell me what you need, and I will be glad to help you. Because you would be amazed how often the only thing I can't understand on the message is your name. Because you're so used to saying your name, you say it really, really fast most of the time. Okay. In addition to that, if you're going to be at a number other than we have in our system, or if you prefer to be called on your cell phone or wherever you might be at that time, that little bit of knowledge would be awesome. It would also be great if you could tell us what the best time to reach you would be, like if you're giving me a call and you have to go into work or something. Let me know, say, hey, I'm going into work at 4 o'clock, so if you could give me a holler before that, that would be awesome. If not, give me a holler tomorrow after 10 a.m. Something like that. That would be great. So once again, and then be specific about your questions. Say, hey, I'm having problems with page 224. I'm looking at question 3, and I have no idea what's going on here. If you could help me out, give me some pointers, that would be fantastic. There you go. Simple enough. Okay, if you do call and leave me a message, it's often a good idea to go ahead and send me an email. Say, hey, I gave you a phone call. Because again, that puts you on my to-do list. Sometimes I listen to the message, but like I say, it's not staring me in the face all day, and occasionally things slip through the cracks. I don't want that to happen to any of you. Okay? And another thing you can do is you can actually send me an email and say, hey, give me a call. Got no problem with that either. Because then once again, you're on the list and it's like, oh, I got to call this person because they need some help on something. If you do send me an email, I like very specific titles. It helps me out a lot. Such as page 127, question 5, as we've got written here. That helps me a lot more than hey or hi. I mean, I appreciate the heys and the highs. It's nice to hear from somebody and get a nice friendly greeting. And my personal favorite, of course, is important. All your emails are important, by the way. So these are some different ways that you can get a hold of me and we can get things finished for you. All right, so let's move on. All right, so I often get this phrase called sorry to bother you. Okay, first of all, you're never bothering me, and this is a true story. This has probably been about 4 years now. I had a young lady that was in Algebra 2. She emailed me questions on average of 5 times a day. I'm not kidding. Including Saturdays and Sundays, 5 times a day. Some of the questions were a little bit simpler, some of them were a little bit longer, but she had a lot of questions. No problem. Moral of the story is she got an A in Algebra 2, and she is a graduate of Ohdela. So you are never bothering me. Let's just get that on the table right now. So obviously the moral of the story is the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I won't explain this little cartoon to you. See if you guys can figure out what that's all about. Okay, so we do have live classes this year. We're using something called Adobe Connect. We go live Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to about 9:50, something like that. And as it says here, feel free to bring some breakfast. There's nothing wrong with a little feast on our time. And we have, that is actually a movie reference. There's a picture from the movie, and I'll let you guys figure it out from there. Look up Ancient Cinema and Sean Penn, and that'll probably get you where you need to go. Okay, so a little more about coming to class. People who come to class tend to get better grades. It's not always true, but for the most part. And I understand that sometimes you have other classes in conflict, you work, got to go to the doctor, that kind of thing. But we record all the classes for your benefit, so you have access to them round the clock. And typically I have those classes posted within minutes after they are completed. And we'll get into that more as we get into class as far as where you access those particular recordings. Okay, so there is no direct effect on your grade. If you don't come to class, it does not lower your grade directly. It may lower your grade because you don't understand some of the material. Also, when you attend class, we put you in as present. That does log some time for you automatically, and you'll be hearing more and more and more about logging hours as the year goes on. But if you can get some of those hours put in there automatically, why not? So it's always nice for you to stop by. If you do watch a recording, what I need you to do, I don't need a summary or anything like that. Just say, hey, I checked out your recording from Tuesday, September 3rd. And I'll be, all right, and I will go ahead and change your status from absent to present. Okay, once again, you won't get penalized for not attending class, but once again, people who do attend class tend to get better grades. Okay, so we have a basic class schedule this year. We're going to go through these different modules, they're going to call them this year instead of units. There's a little bit of what I would call ebb and flow to the class because sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to do a topic than originally anticipated, and that's fine. Other times some things go a little bit faster. Sometimes we get some really cool questions, as I call them, out of left field, but there's nothing wrong with that. Ask those questions, and that's some of the best stuff we learn around here. Okay, so typically during the live classes, I leave the text chat open. Well, typically is pretty much all the time. I don't mind a little chit chat. I know you guys are there. You know, you want to socialize a little bit. It's not a problem. Like I say, as long as it doesn't get too out of hand, everything's fine. You know, I usually join in, as a matter of fact. But we'll still get our work done. So nothing wrong with that. If it gets really obnoxious, I will shut it off. But I'll tell you what, the number of times I have done that over the years, I can count on one hand and have fingers to spare. So it's typically not a problem with you guys. You guys are pretty good about it. And like I said, I don't mind a little chit-chat, little hijinks here and there. Not a problem. Okay, so class participation definitely makes class more interesting, a lot more fun. Hop right in there. Everybody wants to hear from you because basically, if you're wondering about something, somebody else is too. And by doing that, you help yourself out, you help somebody else out. It's all good. Total win-win. So formative assessments will be like little quizzes, maybe on vocab, maybe short projects, and I do mean short. Little discussions. I might do a little like multiple choice checkpoint kind of thing, just to kind of see how everybody's doing. We want to make sure everybody's good and prepped before we get to the big summative assessments, the guys that have the most effect on your grade. Okay, and as it says here, my wife said to use this slide design because it's pretty. Pretty awesome, right? Alright, let's move on. Okay, summative assessments, like I say, this will be most of your grade. Cool. And level 2 stuff is like vocabulary and simpler stuff, maybe you learned in Algebra 1, that kind of stuff. And it's something that you'll need to use for the Algebra 2 stuff we're going to cover. Level 3 is what the state of Ohio wants you to know. Level 4 is Rockstar level. Actually, it's more Hall of Famer level. We'll call level 3 Rockstar level. So that's the above and beyond stuff. Okay, here's grading scale. Pretty much if you meet the state standards or higher, you get 3 to 4, and that's A'sville. If you're pretty close, so that's 2.5 to 2.99, that means you're in the ballpark, but you're not quite there, that's going to be a B. Level 2 is basically you understand a lot of the preliminary stuff, but not a whole lot of the new stuff. And then 1.5 to 1.99 means you're having a little bit of trouble, and we don't even talk about 1.5 and below. But we do have ways to fix that. Okay, so what if your grade isn't where you want it? You'd like to up your grade a little bit. Everybody likes to do that. Everybody likes to shoot for that A. So what we can do is we can look at one of your summative assessments and say, hey, you had some trouble with these problems here. Let's talk about these guys a little bit and you can redo them for me. Because basically all you have to do is convince me that I got this down. That's it. So I'm all for that. I want everybody to get this stuff down. I would like to hand out an A to each and every one of you. That would be very nice. What bums me out is at the end of the year when I'm having to fail people. And I'll be honest with you guys. Typically in this class, this is what I hand out. I hand out A's, B's, and F's. Very few C's or D's. Reason for that is if you're showing up to class, you're working on it, you get yourself an A. If you're having a little bit of trouble, but you're still with us, you're in the ballpark, that kind of thing, then you're probably going to get a B, which is not a horrible grade at all. And the F's are pretty much for the people that don't do anything. So if you do something, most people are going to get an A or a B, which is a good thing. Helps the old grades. Helps the old GPA, right? All right, so let's do a quick summation here, and I will quit blabbing at you. Here's our buddy David Letterman. He's got the top 10 list for us here. Top 10 ways to survive Algebra 2. Here we go. So first one here, we have contact your teacher with any questions. That would be me. 2 says follow daily requirements. 3, big one here, stay on schedule. Work in the class every day. Consistent effort will make life less stressful down the road. I've had way too many people in the past that have tried to do this entire class in about 2 weeks. Not a good idea. All right? Because many have tried, most have failed. So attend the live learning classes, ask questions and participate. Complete and submit all your summative and formative assessments. Once again, we will have due dates in the system. Consider them a little bit more pace dates. That's where I would like you guys to be, but if you need an extra day or two to get a good grade on a test, I'm fine. All right? I'd rather get a good test a couple days late than a lousy test on time. Simple enough. Okay? So sort of along the lines of number 3 here, number 6 says, make yourself a schedule and treat the school like a job. I have to go to work every day. You guys should go to work every day too. Once again, consistent effort will get you where you need to go. Ask lots of questions before taking the summative assessments. That saves us having to retake them later. So there's some good, helpful online videos in Holt, and I'm going to look for some other stuff to post for you guys here and there. And a really good way to learn something that you're having a little bit of trouble with is Google the topic. You'll get all kinds of good information, or go to YouTube and put the topic in, and you'll get videos like that. And number 10 is contact your teacher. I might have mentioned that one already. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. And yes, in fact, we are done. So I appreciate you guys listening, and we will do it up next time.